much for the follow. Maybe Alexis D, if you're still there. Just gonna need a few minutes here to work out some tech issues, a few difficulties, and that's the purpose of the stream right now, to work all that out. A lot of research here can get started going over, except for a few kinks here that are just not quite working right. His beating. That can't be right. Having some great difficulty getting the actual Twitch metrics fixed here. Well, I got nothing here. Wait, what about this? So I'll be going over some research here, engaging in just a second, if you'll bear with me. Just have a few things here, largely related to not getting the data in front of me that I should be getting from my stream. It's going out, but I'm not getting it back. Chat, as far as metrics. So let's see here. Does that work? Okay, good. So we've got both streams going out. So I have to work out okay. Just have one other quick thing I need to change as far as my decks in front of me. Almost there. Sorry, docs. There we are. Ah, there it is. Good. Good. Okay. Okay. List things. Okay, we don't need that part. Right, there's the home Chrome. We have an open window. Let's get some audio. And there we go. Solved. Okay. I think it should be coming through okay now. Okay, so now we're good to go. So let's take a look, see at what we got for research here today. Work expert here, fix work. Yeah. I'll get the self-promotion later. 15 years, etc., etc. Alright, so scene. Looking okay here. Good enough. Alrighty, so we have got a good deal of white papers here as far as primary source material, typically from schools, a few from various other sources. Let me pull one up that's pretty dang useful. 2020 Employer Needs Survey from North Carolina. This is a Public Works Commission that came out of the state that actually has a lot of info that pretty useful for work purposes. You see, all of these workers, like myself, at least the old me, before I went into this sort of third wayism beyond traditional employment or exploitation of others' labor, I work for myself and generate my own funds through my expertise as a private specialist. And my area of specialty is... Oh, wait. I just realized that I really need to be using a headset. Area of specialty is related to work issues. And there's a good amount of data here that drives the approach. Case in point, geez, isn't it interesting that the biggest problem your bosses are having seems to be that they're having trouble finding people to work for them? Wouldn't that imply that you there, the worker, has quite a large amount of power? 45% say it's the biggest problem they have. How about that? Is there a way to improve the scrolling in PDF? Because this has been a nightmare for a long time. Yeah, I should probably just get in the habit of doing that. Alrighty, let's see here. Yeah, the Twitch stats deck just doesn't work. Just doesn't update. Very weird. Alrighty. Let's see here. Oops. I got the habit of that soon. Alright, well in any case, this isn't going to turn my crank exactly, because sadly I've already worked through all that. What do we got here? Oh yeah, lifelong employment is a lie. You know that whole thing about, just having a job that takes care of you for your entire life and them rewarding you? Well, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, that's not really a real thing. Like, 90% of workers don't get the option to stay with one employer throughout their career. Median number of years, you're not quite the average, that'd be the mean, but the median number of years wage and salary workers been with their job is 4 years as of January 2022. So this is pretty standard. Higher among older than younger ones, duh. No surprise there. That's not really possible to have the opposite. Alright. Hey, if anyone's watching, if you could give me some feedback on the audio, that would be really appreciated. I'm just realizing I fucked the pooch on this one, because I've got the, I've got it playing out. I didn't think ahead to get the headset in place. Truth be told, I fucking hate the headsets. It's never been a convenient or comfortable thing. Next time. Anyway, if there is anyone out there who's needing anything from their jobs or having any issues, feel free to vent there in the chat. Public sector better than private. Oh, that's always larger than you think about. Average public sector employees is 6.8, private sector's 3.7. Of course, the majority of work is private sector. I don't have the breakdown somewhere in front of me, nor can I call it. Anyway, always a lot of fun things to come out of tenure. This paper here argues... See, I found this fascinating. Something I've been trying to research more to see if I can get this data going. But the idea being that the longer you're at a job, the higher the rate of distress, or at least there's being some elevated risk. It would be too far to say, I mean, at least with the evidence I have, it would be a step too far to say, like, the longer you're at a job, the more distress you have. There's a lot of evidence that points to that effect in some different ways, but just haven't come across the primary source data yet on that one. Let's see here. Where did I lay off as far as my actual documentation here? Let's figure this one out here. Okay, there we go. Alright. See here, this is all the research that I've been pulling and scrubbing. Looks like we were on paper 13. Let's see. Paper 13. There we go. Productivity related to mental health. There's a critical tie there. So, there's this weird sort of feedback loop when you think about it. Okay, so the job, you have this experience of distress that appears to be created. Certainly we have the experience of giving up labor, and therefore a drain on what we could call mental health. And yet, from the other side of the same calculus, here you have, let's see, let's go down to the results, data, discussion. There we go. This was a meta-analysis, so no research of its own. However, they did research other studies. Positive association among 36 studies, presence of mental health, illness or disorders, or poor mental health, and productivity loss, measured by absenteeism or presenteeism. Yeah, presenteeism is a weird term. I did a little digging on that, and that's, or I should say, that makes it sound fancy. Earlier in this paper, they defined presenteeism as not being able to be present in the mental health sense. Essentially, they're talking productivity. They're just talking your ability to produce or do the tasks of the job. And 6 studies of those, many of them found that higher severity of the disorder or co-occurring mental health conditions associated with greater productivity loss. One of which in Knudsen found that comorbid anxiety and depression, while comorbid anxiety and depression and anxiety alone were significant risk factors for absenteeism, depression alone was not. It's such a weird way to splice that one, you know. Okie doke. So I guess we got all the meat off that bone. So where we left things would have been on paper 14, which is yeah, I already went over this one. Maybe we'll skip that one. What is this? Productivity, wages, intrinsic motivation. Might be a little too dry for the streaming. Oh shit, yeah. Wait, this one seems kind of evil, actually. This one might be a little evil. Okay, hold on. I gotta see what's going on here. We gotta get to the bottom of this one here. Something fucky's going on. Okay, I thought I saw Bechetti's name earlier and wasn't seeing some issues, but you never really know who these people are until you start looking at their whole body of work. Like Joel Bell, he was really, you know, he's done a lot of work across the spectrum among many interesting businesses and things, private and public. You know, we all gotta make our money. Let's see here. There's the long thing. See, okay, here's where immediately my red flag goes up. One direction suggests that intrinsically motivated workers are willing to accept lower wages and donate work. For example, unpaid overtime. The donative labor hypothesis. Okay, well that's wage theft. That's exploitation. That's not cool. In the other direction, intrinsic motivations are expected to increase worker productivity and in turn wages. Correct. The intrinsic motivation productivity hypothesis. I'll have to look into that more because that certainly is the one that I would be backing if I had a horse in this race. You look at the one I pulled up 2 articles ago that was saying lost productivity. Using a new database of sample of workers. Okay, nonprofit. We find that consistently. Okay, there we go. So the argument here, it seems that they get to, at the end of the day, primarily, is workers in a co-op, non-profit sector, more motivated workers earn higher wages, which in turn signals higher productivity. I think you can use the word signal as indicates more than anything. I believe it can be used interchangeably in this research paper context. Man, fucking primary source. Alright. What I should do here is, I should go on break, I should mute the mic, I should come back with a headset, because I imagine that the audio is not great, and I didn't put that together. I might need to buy a new headset. Anyway, this is WorkPower. We're gonna be going through. God only knows. There's so much fucking research here, all fucking directions. I feel like the thing I should really focus on proving, or rather disproving. All right, let me pull this one up. It's number 8, right? Oh yes. How do I remember that one? Okay, we've got a very interesting paper here, don't we? Now, you see, there's this idea out there that you might see a lot of images about on, something crazy like the Be Right Back screen. There's this idea that you're not making as much money today as your parents were, your grandparents were. Something called the wage gap, as it were. Well, we've got someone here who'd like to argue the opposite. It's funny because actually I was just on a large... I was trying to get as many articles as I could on these topics. This one got snuck in. Should have done a little better work. Now I don't have the horses yet. I don't got the horses to take this one down. I will, because I know where the data lies and all of that. But let's look at this here, and let's start with the author here. Who is Martin Feldman anyway? Oh dear. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. He's... Wait. Oh, there. So... Wow. Okay, so, that can't be right. That can't be right. This guy can't be writing an article for the National Bureau of Economic Research, can he? Can he? Incidentally, let's, get that one down there. Martin S. Feldman. Oh wait, hold on, I wrote Feldstein. Oh, there you go. Martin Feldstein. Martin Stewart Feldstein. Oh, he was the count. Well, I'll be. So we've got an article here. He was the George F. Baker Professor of Economics at Harvard, President Emeritus of the NBER from 1978 to 2008. And is he still alive? No, 5 years ago he passed away at age 79. R.I.P. Republican, how about that? Macroeconomics, public economics. Feldstein-Hoyoroka puzzle. Investment behavior in various countries. He and Hoyoroka found in the long run, capital tends to stay in its home country, that is to say, nation savings used to fund its investment opportunities, known as the Feldstein-Hoyoroka puzzle. Well, hold on a second. Is that true in cases of wartime? Because I seem to recall a few very notable exceptions, several of which involved Hobby Lobby. Great people, those Hobby Lobbyers. Okay. Warned that the adverse effects... Oh. Upcoming Euro monetization. No. European Monetary Union and the Euro, I should be accurate. Philstein warned that the adverse economic effects of a single... Sorry. Huh. Look, it's the first stream, man. I'll get used to it. You know, I'm better at this. Wow. He was considered a leading candidate to be the chairman of the Fed due to his prominence in the Reagan administration. Okay, let's see. What else did Feldstein do here? Well, he was considered a leading candidate to be the chairman of the Fed. Now, if you kids out there don't know, that's one of the most powerful people on Earth. The chairman of the Fed. Like, no joke. Like, I don't know that you'd say more powerful than the president, especially because, I believe it's is it a presidential pick, incidentally? Is it a presidential, I'm gonna know. Okay, nominated by president, confirmed by the Senate. Okay. Yeah, for some reason it didn't seem right. That was just a presidential pick, like Supreme Court. No, Supreme Court. Anyways. Okay, ultimately the position went to Bernanke, possibly because Feldstein was a board member of AIG. Womp womp. Which announced the same year it would reinstate 5 years to past financial reports by $2.7 billion. Subsequently suffered a serious financial collapse that played a central role in the worldwide economic crisis of 2007-2008 and the global recession. Rescued by capital infusions from the reserve, which extended $182.5 billion line of credit. Oh, aren't they the best to the big guys? You know, they take good care of you. Oh, member of the Foreign Intelligence Advisory Board. Wait, that's weird. That's a weird thing. Okay. Well, I guess he was Bush's on the Foreign Intelligence Advisory Board. Yeah, when it says 2009, you think Obama, but no, I'm sure he was out in January. There's no way. I mean, you never know. Oh, March 2008, he said we were in a recession. It's on the ball, that one. Okay, well, anyway. So he is, he's quite the big boy. He's got a lot behind him. But anyway, here's the thing. Well, let's just look at the abstract and just get to the point here. The level of productivity doubled in the U.S. farms and non-farm business sector between 1970 and 2006. Yeah, more or less. It's pretty accurate. Wages, or more accurately, total compensation per hour. Oh, there's your first L. You could argue that it's a normal thing to say, but we'll see where this goes. Total compensation per hour, or wages, increased at approximately the same annual rate during that period, if nominal compensation is adjusted to inflation, in the same way as the nominal output measure that is used to calculate productivity. Well, he tries to make it hard to read on purpose. I'm going to do my best to tease this out for you. That's the thing. These are meant to be indecipherable. Let me decipher it for you. It's going to take me a minute, though. And a few more goldfish. I'm sorry. Look, if anyone's out there, I am looking at the chat. I believe I should be looking at the chat. Please do say something. Just to, I know that's working, FYI. But please do let me know if there's audio issues, as I fear. However, I don't know where the other headset is, and I don't feel like going to look. Okay. What the fuck is he saying? This is a really bad run-on sentence. Wages increased at the same rate during that period if nominal compensation is adjusted for inflation, the same way as the nominal. Okay. Hold on. Wages can be. It's one of those. Shit. I'm blanking and I should know, but you know the SAT questions with the colon and the two colons for those comparisons? That's what this sentence is. It's the worst one I've ever read. Okay, wages are wages increased. No, it's not. This is a really tough chain of logic to work out. Wages increased at the same annual rate as productivity if nominal compensation is adjusted the same way nominal output measure is. Okay, I'm sorry. I can't get behind that one. It's too hard. You know, maybe those people in academia really do earn money. At least those who are getting paid. I think academia is kind of like pro wrestling or sports, in that you think they all make a lot of money, but really, like, most of them are making like $20,000 to $30,000 a year. Like, yeah, I've known more than a few professors. It's you know, normally I say do whatever job it feels important to you, but there's a few lines of work I would say are pretty bad. Like, don't get into them. Don't do this. Number one is the military. Like, do not do that for a very good reason. I would say the metric. One of the more important metrics that plays into how you will feel about a job is control. If you feel you have a subjective feeling of control or not. You know, the military is like the one job, the only job I can think of. Okay, there's a few very rare outliers, but the military has a very interesting condition there. See, you're subjected to an extra court. Like, I as a medical provider, I get special privileges and powers, and I'm subjected to additional laws, like 24/7, but, like, not a different court. No, I can't get court-martialed. Nobody but someone who's in the military. They are the only people who can get court-martialed. They have extra laws that constrain them even when they're not working. That's awful. So, number one job line of work, do not go into military. Number two, look, I hate to say it, but you really should consider teaching as a pretty challenging job. Because again, if we talk about control, we're talking about the sort of you can often be locked into a public system there. And ultimately, it's not teaching itself that I argue there's this loss of control, this great problem with, that puts it on a lower tier below most, like 90% of jobs. It's the that limitation you will see, that burden you will see, similarly, in any sort of public work. You know, any sort of job where you are locked into this and cannot, gather or negotiate offers. If you're locked into a secondary system where you can't actually negotiate offers from the market, then you can't really know your value as a worker. Yeah. There we go. That's when it's going well. More of that. Okie dokie. Alright. This one fucking sucks, man. Let me tell you. Alright, that abstract was horrible, but here, let me get to the point that really got my goat here. Relation between wages and productivity is important. Key determined the standard of living of the employed population, as well as the distribution of income between labor and capital. Correct. Nothing weird or controversial about that. Very simple. Economics 101. If wages rise at the same pace as productivity, labor's share of national income remains essentially unchanged. Yeah, pretty much. No, actually, hold on. Well, yeah, if we're talking income technically means earnings, just raw earnings. Yeah, it does represent that, yeah. This paper presents specific evidence that this has happened. The shared national income going to employees is at approximately the same level now as it was in 1970. Okay. This is where we have this complete divergence from reality from Dr. Feldstein, RIP. Let me just pull up one or two images here to point out why this is a problem. Okay, yeah, here we go, right here. There we go. You've probably seen something like this here before. The disconnect between productivity and a typical worker's compensation. Now, 1970 to 1973 is usually considered the high watermark here. And there's a very good reason for this divergence point and why it happens when it does. So, throughout the and ultimately... Alright, let's try it again. Take two. Okay, let's give this a try here. 1 second. One second, I just have to put this, okay. Okay then. Okay, so Dr. Feldstein there, former nearly chairman of the Federal Reserve, nearly one of the most powerful people on earth, who sadly lost out to Bo Bernanke. So Dr. Feldstein, he argues that this slide here on the right is mythical. He's arguing that essentially when you go all in, that productivity and compensation are about equal today. That would be a pretty extreme argument, because here we're seeing that since 1973, productivity and essentially the idea of profits have gone up 138%, whereas hourly compensation has gone up at 9%. I misread that, didn't I? God damn it. Hold on a second. I see, I was misreading the chart. Okay, let's do that again. Okay, so when you look at the wage gap here, which is best evidenced in this disconnect that you'll see, you start to notice... It'll come to me. It'll come to me in time. Alright. So if you look at the productivity gap here between wages and what workers are earning, you see the divergence point somewhere around the early 70s. 1970, according to some metrics, 73 by others. That's a big period of time. That's when you start to have Reagan destroying the labor unions, firing the air traffic controllers, Jimmy Hoffa dies. Essentially, it's a big period of loss after loss after loss. We've passed the high water mark of unionization in America by 1973. But in 1970, that number was about 25% union membership. 1 out of every 4 workers had that support. Today, that's about 10%, 1 in 10. So, as the saying goes, a rising tide lifts all boats. However, we've had a falling tide since 1973, and hence you see the wage gap here. I read through a good chunk of the Feldstein paper, which argues that this isn't real, and what they seem to argue is that compensation from other areas is where the wage gap is made up. So they argue that while your boss has been nearly doubling what they're making, 50 years ago, and you're making the same, actually less when you factor inflation in. Even though your company's making more and you're literally making less money,
they get to make this argument that it's not real because they're giving you health insurance. Don't you love your health insurance? Aren't you so glad you're getting it? You know. Yeah, well, that's why we have this gap. Anyway, I'm gonna stop here. Thank you very much if you have been watching. Appreciate it. I'll be back at some point when I've gotten some more work done as far as the tech and practice. Appreciate your